When I left from New York 5 years ago, I just completely left that life behind and had to rebuild. I had to start all over. And during that process, I had to really learn me. I had to understand who I am. I had to go way back. Well, hello everyone. I'm Deena Diamond, and thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I normally don't like to talk about my issues on social media, but there's been something that's been bothering me, and I'm gonna bring it here only because it's relevant to previous conversations and even just relevant to this channel. With everyone that I tell about me, I try to give them some time to process everything and just give them the space that they need. Listen, I've waited way too long to get to this point in my life to feel comfortable to now have to, feel insecure, to now feel like I'm going backwards. If I have to feel like I'm going backwards, I'm not going. I'm just not going. My first video that I made for YouTube, I called in my homegirl because I just felt like I needed some support. I needed some assistance. She had already knew about me, but never actually saw me. So she did join me for the first video, and we had a regular conversation just about who I am. And I did ask her a few questions about how she was feeling, what she thought about everything. And she told me at that time that she was okay. She was happy that I wasn't trans because she said that she met me one way and just kind of like both versions of me. And that's fine, but I'm not really sure if that's the case. I tried hanging out with her, being around her a few times like this. And I don't know, the energy was different. The vibe wasn't there. I asked her about it. She said everything was okay, but I'm starting to feel this rift. Now, this is my homegirl. I've been knowing her for a really long time, for, a few years, at least almost 10 years. And we have never had any conflict, any disputes, any arguments, none of that. It's always been good. It's always been love. It's really like that with everyone in my circle. I keep a real small circle. So if I vetted you through the process, I know you're good to go. But ever since I came out and I told her about me, about Deena, it just kind of feels like there's been like this little shift. I know how people feel, y'all. I really do know how people feel. So if I'm around someone, I'm definitely picking up your energy. I feel what you're feeling, I do. And it's just been, I don't know, it's been making me feel uncomfortable when we do get together, we do hang out, and I don't like the way that feels. So what happened recently just kind of took me by surprise. It left me a little bit disappointed. So at the beginning of February, I knew that she was planning a trip overseas, and that's when the country just went to war. And so I wanted to reach out to her to find out, what she was thinking, if she heard about the war, just really showing my concern. And she didn't answer my calls. And that's not like her. So I really started to feel like I was being avoided, like she was avoiding my phone calls for whatever reason. And she was. She ended up leaving. She went and took her trip. And then I had a lot of transition in my life. I was going through things at my job, and then I was also in the middle of, moving here. She was telling me about another job that she was interested in. It's just unusual when you speak to a person on a regular and then all of a sudden you get nothing, with no explanation, with just kind of nothing. And I felt like, I don't know, it really made me feel some kind of way, y'all. It did. And this is disappointing because she's like a little sister to me. When I finally built up the nerve to come and make a video, I just needed a little bit of support. And I thought about her. And so I called her and I said, hey, can you come make this video with me? She said yes. I was happy that she did come. But even when she came and she saw me for the first time, I could feel her discomfort. And so I stopped the video and I went behind the scenes and I said, girl, girl, it's me. You know, I know she's used to, you know, seeing the boy version of me, but I had already told her, like, these things, what to expect. She had already saw my Instagram. She saw my pictures. She know what I look like. And I don't know, I guess, you know, seeing me in the flesh just did something different to her. And I'm giving her grace, so I gave her grace, and I just wanted to give her time to process everything she was going through. I feel like, you know, when you have been knowing someone for a really long time, you at least, you know, give the consideration to have a conversation with that person about how you're feeling, what you're going through. You know, especially when I ask you over and over again and you just kind of give me nothing. So after a month, she finally did call me. She finally reached out to me. No, she did call, y'all. It was during the time of an emergency. And it made me feel like, are you only calling me when you need me? But anyway, that's a separate conversation. So she called me up and, you know, she just started talking as if I spoke to her earlier that day. And that didn't help the situation. It didn't help me feel any better. Yeah, I was, you know, happy to hear from her and she was well, but you're calling me now after a month and you're talking to me as if we had a continued conversation. And so during that time, I asked her, I said, hey, you know, I haven't heard from you in a month. And she told me, yes, I know. I never meant for it to go on this long. All right, so you were intentional, fine, no problem, whatever. Because, you know, I always say that, you know, you have to do what's best for you. So if it's time that you need, if I'm being too much for you or whatever, at least tell me that. But she didn't say anything to me. She just felt like I guess I was being too much and she needed time. And she just did not talk to me during those weeks. But now she's calling me now. And it's like, oh, so you moved, how are things going? I want to come see you, I want to come visit you, da 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 da. And I'm just like, this is weird. Like, how do you long story short, you know, I think a lot of times people try avoiding difficult conversations, but you gotta have them. You know, I'm not gonna be upset or even more disappointed than I already am. Just be honest with me. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me what's going on, because at the end of the day, I already know. I'm just giving you the opportunity to tell me. But I already know.
Have y'all seen this video? Watch this one right here.
Your intentions are pure, you don't lose people, they lose you. Because you know what purity is in today's world? It's a rarity, a threat, a mirror that exposes what other people aren't willing to be. When your intentions are good, you don't, play games, you don't manipulate, you don't keep score, you give honesty, you show up consistently, you love without agenda. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to handle that. They mistake your kindness for weakness, and they take advantage of your patience, and they underestimate your silence. They get comfortable, careless, reckless. Then one day you stop showing up, not out of anger, not out of spite, but because your soul finally understands something your heart keeps avoiding. And it's that when your intentions are clean, losing people isn't a loss, it's alignment. Because people with impure intentions can't stay in the presence of someone who's genuine. It exposes them. It convicts them. It makes them uncomfortable. Because your presence requires honesty. Their presence requires ego. And ego always flees with the truth, enters the room. So no, you didn't lose them. They lost the person who meant well. They lost the friend who cared deeply. They lost the partner who showed effort. They lost the heart that didn't know how to pretend. They lost the version of you they'll never meet again. And sooner or later, life will show them the weight of that loss. Not because you want revenge, but because, purity has a value people only recognize in hindsight. So, don't sit there wondering what's wrong with you. Don't replay the moments. Don't question your worth. Don't rewrite your intentions. If you acted with sincerity, with loyalty, with clarity, with heart, then the ending wasn't your failure. It was their consequence. Because when your intentions are pure, God replaces every loss with something aligned, something better, something that matches the level you are giving. So, yeah, you don't lose people. You simply stop carrying those who were never capable of matching your honesty.
Her explanation was, oh, well, when I called you to tell you about a job that I was interested in, your response was, oh, well, get an interview first. Well, maybe I did say that, and I did apologize to her, but if you know me, like, everyone knows that I'm everyone's biggest cheerleader. Like, I'm such a positive person. I'm filled with optimism. I support people, I motivate people, inspire people, and for you to take something that I said out of context, one, I know that's bullshit. Yeah, I know that's BS. And I'm sure I know the real issues. So I'm gonna have a conversation with her about it, because I can't have people reflecting their issues onto me. I did the work. I did a lot of work to get here to this point, and I am so proud of myself. She was supposed to came over this weekend, but I wasn't in the mood. It kind of really threw me off. I'm at a place in my life where I have alignment, and it took a while to get here, y'all, because when I left from New York 5 years ago, I just completely left that life behind and had to rebuild. I had to start all over. And during that process, I had to really learn me. I had to understand who I am. I had to go way back. I had myself in therapy. I was in therapy with myself. I'm a therapist. Not on paper. But it was a process that I had to go through. And I think we all have to do the work. We all have to do the work. Everyone out here is dealing with issues or have gone through things. And if you didn't put in the work, you're still dealing with those issues. Being around someone and you just feeling how uncomfortable they are, it doesn't make me feel good. Especially when I ask. I'm around her all the time. And we just have to talk about it. This is one of the problems that we have, the lack of communication. When people don't talk, they don't tell you how they're feeling. They don't even give you a chance to explain. I'm a healed person. I'm a healed person, y'all. And, I keep a very small circle. And as y'all know, y'all see my videos. I don't usually have people in my videos. It's usually just me, because I'm good by myself. As long as I got my mother and God, I am good. I'm here on this channel because Deena has been in the closet for so long when no one really knew her, and I just didn't really have a life. And now I have life. I'm living. I'm real. I'm here, and I gotta deal with this. Well, I don't, and that's the thing. I don't. So we need to have a conversation, and I'm really hoping that she's honest with me. That she is gonna be transparent and really tell me how she feels. Don't spare my feelings in the process. Please don't. Because at the end of the day, like, I know who I am, and I'm not gonna change. I'm gonna go outside this way, and if anybody got a problem, then that's their problem, not mine. And if anyone doesn't want to be around me like this, they don't have to. Just know that you don't get this anymore. You don't get this anymore. I don't want people having issues with me. At the end of the day, I don't even know why somebody would have an issue with me being this way. This is who I am. I'm not out here hurting anybody or hurting myself. So what's the deal? What's the deal? Because I'm happy the way I am. I love me, y'all. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. Hopefully we can just kind of get things back to where we were and just move on from this. I feel that a lot of times when people have issues, that it's not even really you that they have the issue with. It's the issues with themselves. That's why I said do the work. Because when you come around me, whatever issues you have, it's gonna show on your sleeve. So I'm gonna get her together, invite her over here, show her the place. That's my girl. She's like a little sister to me. But if she can't accept me, for who I am and be comfortable, around me this way, then that's really gonna cause a shift, and it's really gonna have you know, a bigger impact on our relationship and how we communicate. Thanks again for just listening to me, y'all. You know, for all of those that sat through this video to this point, that subscribe to my channel, that, you know, just constantly encourage me. Like, I really, really appreciate that. Like, for real, I do. Thank you. Well, until next time, have a good one, everyone, and I'll see y'all soon.